The city of Naperville has seen its share of unforgettable people, places, and moments that have had a deep impact on the community. Those who were fortunate enough to know and experience a time when Naperville was an up-and-coming town cherish and hold on to these memories. Upon discovering the influence of public art in a British Columbian town, a small group of citizens, who became known as Century Walk, grew to serve one purpose: create and pay tribute to significant people, places, and events of the 20th century.
I kind of thought, well, gee, if they could do that, then maybe Naperville could do something similar to it. They built a Ford, we could build a Cadillac.
In the beginning, I think there was a great deal of excitement, and I think there still is, of the fact that Naperville would be a leader in supporting public art. And it really has enhanced the downtown.
It doesn't have to be always people or sculpture, but I think anything that makes you stop and think about the bigger universe. I mean, you can really take it to all kinds of heights.
Public art, I think, is important for the community because it's not hidden away. It's out in the open. You don't have to pay a fee to get in a door someplace to see it.
It's a walk so that people can walk, and they can walk together, they can walk with their children, they can learn the history.
From their start in 1996, the public was skeptical of the concept, for it had yet to be proven. Century Walk received $10,000 from the Illinois Art Council, but they knew if their dream was to become a reality, they would have to seek help from both the private sector as well as the city.
It's taken a while for a buy-in from the citizens as well as from the public officials. People thought, what are you doing? What is going on here, especially at the early stages when we were painting on the lantern building there. The artists had put their perspectives in, and there was a bunch of lines going across this big canvas. People would see that there, and I get calls and saying, have you lost your mind? They thought was abstract art going up there, and I said, just be patient.
Laying the groundwork, these pieces began the first phase of Naperville's experiment in public art.
The city's reaction, I believe, has been very, very positive. We proposed that we would do three things. They would be predicated on an average cost of $10,000 each. And we wanted to, in getting a start, because this is really where we had to walk before we could run, we decided we would show the types of medium that could be used for public art. So we selected a mural, we selected a mosaic, and we selected a relief. The mural was the printed word, which was done on the side of the Sun building in downtown Naperville, since removed and relocated. The benches were done over at what is now Egg Harbor, mosaic benches, and the relief was done at the former First National Bank. That was it, and the city at the first council meeting reluctantly kind of didn't know what they were getting into either. So they accepted that, and maybe, as they say, the rest is history.
In the coming years, the Century Walk would pay tribute to the Golden Rule, the value of recycling, and pay homage to one of Naperville's most influential journalists. Genevieve Tousley first came to Naperville to attend North Central College. An avid writer whose calling would be realized with the Naperville Clarion and then the Naperville Sun. In her column, The Grapevine, Genevieve chronicled the comings and goings of Naperville from 1954 to 1995 and became an unofficial documentarian of mid-20th century Naperville.
She was a major literary thread in our history. And if we were going to be the artistic thread, then why not pick up on and develop from what she'd already laid out.
Thanks to the generosity of Dwight and Ruth Yackley, Genevieve Tousley's sculpture is aptly placed at the entrance of Barnes & Noble. Her presence delights children and adults alike, who give pause to learn the story of the lady on the bench.
You talk about trust or a leap of faith or something, because right at this multi-million-dollar development, right in the doorway to a major retailer, he's going to let Century Walk do something.
You get that feeling that she's about to write. And that's how she always was. Every time she went anywhere, she always had that stenographer's pad and that pen or that pencil handy, ready to write.
You can put a piece of sculpture up here and one here, but when you've done what you've got in Naperville, together, collectively, it's really quite impressive.
One of the wonderful things about Century Walk is that it does showcase different art styles, you know, from murals to sculpture. Even my very favorite piece is Symbiotic Sojourn, which is behind Main Street Promenade, and that's a waterfall.
Sculptor Jeff Adams preserves the celebration of Naperville's recycling and conservation efforts in his fountain, Symbiotic Sojourn, which portrays the ideal relationship between Mother Earth and its future generations.
He catches the drapery, he catches movement, he catches expression, and he's just, I think, phenomenal. He also owns a foundry, so he can take the piece from the initial design to modeling it in clay, to doing the whole process and actually pouring it at the foundry and then helping to install it.
This brings it alive in 3 dimensions. Right downtown on Jefferson Avenue on the south side, just east of Washington Street, is a representation that George and Shirley Olson put together of a schoolhouse.
It's dedicated to Reba Steck, who was a teacher in DuPage County for over 48 years, and she always taught the golden rule to her students, and she had her students say that every day. In keeping with the educational theme in the one-room schoolhouse, there is granite with little sayings and quotes from other educators in the area, including Arlo Schilling and some other teachers.
To engage and educate younger children in Naperville's past, Century Walk found the perfect combination of motion and interaction to share the city's railroad heritage.
The piece at the Children's Museum, Parting of the Prairies, is really very unique. We had wanted to do a mobile for a number of years, and that piece just is wonderful.
2, 3. Oh, we got your finger. Yeah! I love it. I love when they interact with the pieces. And, you know, I always design the sculptures so that they're beautiful at rest, but they become complete with the human element. You know, I just love to see people enjoying and, you know, seeing that there's like another stage to it.
We're interested in doing it. It's something new.
You can actually move parts of it and be interactive for the kids. And that just opens up a whole piece of imagination about what has gone on in the past, especially with the history of the community.
It's a kind of a site that picks up yesterday and today at the same time.